Hello and welcome to a new video. Today I am bringing you my mid-year book freakout tag. I really enjoyed doing this video. I don't actually know who the original creator of this video is, and there are various different versions with different questions. I'm using the same questions I used for the past 2 years. I will leave last year's video either linked below or up here, but everyone does these. I will say I have no issue with obviously people post them whenever they want, but these should not be filmed before the end of June, because the end of June is mid-year, and I saw some people posting them at the beginning of June and all throughout June, and it just really baffles me so much. But we move on. I am firmly in July. It is the 2nd of July when I'm filming this, so we're good. But I'm just going to go through the questions that I have from last year's. So yeah. Question number 1. What is the best book you've read so far in 2022? If you know me at all, you already know what book I'm going to hold up. It's Love on the Brain by Ellie Hazelwood. It was actually between this and Under One Roof, but this one out. But I absolutely love this book. It is everything, and I can't wait for everyone to read it when it's released in August. I still cannot believe I was sent a hardback arc of this. Like, it baffles me, and I absolutely love it so much. And yeah. Question number 2. What has been your favourite sequel of the first half of the year? Again, I'm nothing if not predictable. It's House of Sky and Breath by Sarah J Maas. I've read quite a few sequels this year, and they have all been pretty high up. But this on Core Pile got the highest, and it's also amazing. Like, this book broke me in the best way, and I absolutely love it, and I cannot wait to reread it. I also managed to not be spoiled for this one like I was with the first book when I read that the first time, so that is a bonus. Granted, I did literally, the moment I woke up, the morning it came out, because I didn't have my copy yet, like my physical copy. So the moment I woke up, I used a credit to buy the audiobook, and I started listening to it instantly. So yeah, it would have been hard for me to get spoiled for this. Question number 3 is there a new release that you haven't read yet but you're really excited for? There are so many, but I narrowed it down to one, and that's Book of Night by Holly Black. I have 3 editions of this. Holly Black's one of my favourite authors. I've not read anything from her for a while, so I'm really excited to read this, especially since this is in a different, like, this is completely different to the Cruel Prince, like the Folk of the Air series, because it's not set there. It's completely different, so I'm very excited. Question number 4 is, what is your most anticipated release for the second half of the year? I'm gonna sort of like, there are so many, and I'm gonna sort of like have a bit of a cop out, because I'm gonna give you 3. So we have Kingdom of the Feared by Kerry Maniscalco, final book in this trilogy. I just recently in the last few months read the second book in this trilogy, and oh my god, incredible. I cannot wait for this one. Then we have Defend the Dawn by Bridget Kemmerer. Again, this is the second book in a series. I absolutely loved Defy the Night when I read it last year. It was amazing, and I just need the sequel now. And it doesn't come out till September. Both of them come out in September. And then the third, again, comes out in September, and it is The American Roommate Experiment by Elena Armas. This is a sequel to The Spanish Love Deception. It follows the main character's best friend from Spanish Love Deception, and it has the roommates trope, which is my favourite trope, so yeah. Question number 5 is, what is your biggest disappointment so far? And honestly, it was so close to being something else, but because I read this book right at the end of June, which this right here is why I wait until July to film this, because otherwise this would not have been included on this, and it deserves this spot for biggest disappointment. It's Last Sacrifice by Rochelle Mead. It's the final book in the Vampire Academy series. I was so disappointed with the direction that the author took with this. It was unnecessary, completely unnecessary, and I hated it, and I just want to throw the book at the wall, but I don't want to hurt the wall. Question number 6 is, what is your biggest surprise so far? And that is Catfishing on Catnip by Naomi Kritzer. This is, if you've watched my channel for a while, this is the famous book that had been on my NetGalley TBR since November 2019. And I finally read it. And oh my god, hated myself for not reading it sooner, but I'm absolutely obsessed with it, and I now have this and the sequel in hardback because I'm gonna reread this and I want to read the sequel. So this was definitely a surprise for me. I did expect to like it. Obviously I requested it on NetGalley for a reason, but I didn't expect to love it as much as I did, and it was just so much better than I expected. I loved it. Question number 7 is, what is your favourite new to you or debut author? Now, I think this book is actually their debut, but I do have another book by them. I don't usually do like favourite authors until I've read at least 2 of their books, but I don't really have any others that I've read multiple books by the same author this year that I could include in this. So I'm going for F.T. Lukens. I read In Deeper Waters a couple of months back and absolutely adored it. It was incredible. This is the author's debut book, I believe. And I just absolutely adored every second of it. It was so fun. I loved the sibling dynamic in this. You find in a lot of like fantasies especially, the siblings hate each other and they're always out to get each other and they just don't support each other. But the sibling relationships in this book was just so, like, it was a breath of fresh air to see siblings supporting each other, like actively telling them that they're proud of them and just being a loving family. It was so lovely to see, and it just sort of solidified the fact that I absolutely adored this book, and I'm very excited to read more by this author. Number 8 is newest fictional crush. I have many because I've been reading lots of romances this year. I am going to go with either Levi Ward from Love on the Brain or Liam Hardin from Under One Roof. However, I have many. Basically every romance I've read this year, I have a fictional crush from now, but this and Under One Roof have my favourites. Like, I don't know if I can choose. I'm kind of leaning more towards Liam Harding, but I also don't want to like discount Levi Ward because my heart. Number 9 is, who is your new favourite character? So I don't really have a crush on this character, which is odd, I know, but I love this character, and it's Victor Vale from Vicious by V. Schwab. I still need to read Vengeful. I'm reading it this month, but Victor is just such an amazing character. I'm so excited to see more. I spent the first half of the book being like, do I like Eli more? Do I like Victor more? But the whole book in general solidified the fact that I don't like Eli and I love Victor. Like, everything, I love the morally grey characters anyway, but Victor was just so great and I love him so much. Number 10, a book that made you cry. Find me a book that didn't. But I'm going to go with one that I actually started the year off. I'm pretty sure this was the first book I read this year, and that was The Book of Life by Deborah Harkness. It's the 3rd and final book in the Discovery of Witches trilogy, and this book broke me. I sobbed so much. It was unreal. It was a perfect ending, like wrap up and everything to this trilogy, and I just loved every second of it. It was incredible, and I just I love it. Number 11, a book that made you happy. Under One Roof by Ellie Hazelwood. This is the roommates trope. Do I need to say anything more on that? Also, Liam Harding. I really enjoyed this. Like, literally the whole book just made me so happy. I just loved it so much. And yeah, you don't understand how much I like Ellie Hazelwood has a chokehold on me. I will read anything she releases. That is how good her writing is. I love it so much. But Under One Roof just made me so happy. And I mean, I've read a few books this year that have the roommates trope because it's my favourite trope in romance, but I just, this is my favourite. It made me so happy. It had multiple tropes I liked, and I was just like, yes. Question number 12 is, what is the most beautiful book that you have bought this year? So when I was thinking about this one, I discounted any that have come in book boxes because I don't know what they look like when I purchase the box, like when my subscription renews. So I feel like I'm not buying it because it's beautiful, even though I know it's going to be. I don't actually know what it looks like. So based on books that I have just actually gone and bought because they're pretty, there are a few, but I am going to go with the anniversary edition of The Song of Achilles by Madeline Miller. This is a stunning edition and I am obsessed with it. The end papers are gorgeous and it has a ribbon and I just absolutely love this. I think this is the 10th. Is it the 10th? Yes, it's the 10-year anniversary edition. And I'm just so glad I managed to get it. You can still get it in like some Waterstones, possibly other places as well, but I got mine in Waterstones and I was actually in a Waterstones today and I saw a copy there. So you can still get them. And I recommend it because it's a beautiful story as well. So, yeah. And then question 13 is the one I always struggle with. And it is, what books do you want to read by the end of the year? Everything. Everything. I don't even know where to start with like some possible options. Because I do have so many. I'm going to say the Wicked Villains series by Katie Robert. I want to finish those because I read the first book in January and loved it and I now have the rest of the series, so I want to read them. The Twisted Tales series, which are like a mix of different authors, I want to read them, but I haven't even started those yet. And the Villains series, which I've read the first 3, so I have 1, 2, 3, I have 5 more. But they are very short and they're like retellings of the Disney villains. They each center on a different Disney villain and you sort of see the story from their perspective, and they're really, really well written and I've enjoyed the first 3, so I kind of want to finish them. I kind of want to finish the Raven Boys series because I've still only read the first 2 and I feel like I need to read. But yeah, I want to get through a chunk of my book box books, so I would say those. But yeah, I can't really just give one because there's so many. So there's a list of some that I would like to get to. Whether I will or not is another matter. I probably won't because this is me. One thing I didn't do in last year's video, that last question, the books you want to read before the end of the year, I'm going to do a bit of a reaction to what I said in last year's video and we'll see if I have read them. So I'm going to screen record on my iPad. Let's see. The last question is, what books do you want to read by the end of 2021? Now, I am putting in Monsters of Men by Patrick Ness. This is the final book in the Chaos Walking trilogy. I have read Monsters of Men. I read that last year. I did it. I did do that. I'm very happy with that. I'm going to skip along because that wasn't the only one I said. And then also Aurora Burning by Amy Kaufman and Jay Kristoff. This is the one I'm pretty sure was on my mid-year book freak out tag that I did last year. I will put here if it was on last year's, but I'm pretty sure it was. And I ended up not reading it last year, partly because I just kept putting it off and partly because there was no release date for the 3rd book, but there is now a release date, so I feel confident enough to read the 2nd book knowing there is a release date for the 3rd, and I just hope it doesn't get pushed back again. I still haven't read Aurora Burning and I don't really have the same excuse because I literally am looking at the entire trilogy right now. I have Aurora's Burning and Aurora's End and I still haven't read either. Oops. But at least it wasn't on my 2020 books. I don't know if I said any others. Books of other books that I want to get read this year, so I want to finish the Scythe series as well. I finished the Scythe series. I really want to get Cemetery Boys by Aidan Thomas read this year. I've been sort of saving it for spring. I read Cemetery Boys. I read that last year. Season, so I have so many books I want to get read this year, and it's just not going to be possible for some of them, but okay, so that's not too bad. Of the ones, the few that I said that I wanted to get read, I did mostly read. Just Aurora's Burning to go. Let's see if I can read it before I do this tag next year. So that was my 2022 mid-year book freakout tag. We'll see if I read the books that I mentioned I want to read before the end of this year. We'll see. I hope you enjoyed this video. I'm not going to tag anyone because this is the sort of tag that like a lot of people do anyway. But if you want to do it, let me know, because I like watching other people's. But I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and I'll see you next time. Bye.